I know a lot of people have been clamoring for information about Ninja Theory's first game under Microsoft, and thanks to a recent leak, actually today, on 4chan, we actually have the first details of what might be Ninja Theory's new game, codename Bleeding Edge. What's going on, guys? Randall Thor 19, the man with the million, back again with another video. Hope everyone is doing well. Now, when Microsoft bought Ninja Theory this past year, announced it at E3, it was a shocker. The news and information didn't leak out beforehand, so people were truly surprised, especially coming off of the critically and commercially successful Hellblade. People thought finally Microsoft has a studio that maybe one day could potentially rival Naughty Dog on the Sony side. They have been making great quality titles for quite some time as an independent studio. Hellblade, DMC, which is a reboot of Devil May Cry for Capcom, and Enslaved, Odyssey to the West. I loved all three of those games. They even worked previously before that with Sony directly in an exclusive called Heavenly Sword. So a lot of people are really excited to find out, you know what? They're finally owned by Microsoft. They don't gotta worry about budget anymore. There's no chance of getting shut down like there could have been if their game had flopped. So what exactly are they working on? So this is what the leak has to say, and I'll give my own spin on it later because I have heard information about what the game is, and I'm going to try to be a little bit vague because I don't want to give away my source on this one. So it begins, since it's confirmed we will see their next project at E3, here's some info about it. And keep in mind, I'm going to throw some footage up here of a canceled project by Ninja Theory called Razor, which sounds a lot like what is going on here. So enjoy that footage that I'm sure a lot of you haven't really seen. So first up, it's a story-focused 4-player co-op sci-fi game with an emphasis on melee combat. Now that's interesting because originally when the game was talked about to me, the person said think of Absolver, which is a melee focused game. So that kind of falls in line with what I've heard. Each character can pick different abilities for their secondary attacks. So there's guns, there's traps, and there's a lasso, which acts like the one in Bulletstorm. There's 18 levels and 6 unique locations. Each location offers 3 levels and about 90 minutes of playtime. Each location ends with a boss fight comparable to those in the latest God of War. The premise of the game is that Earth is being invaded, so you move to different planets who have also been invaded until you find the creatures who are responsible for the attacks. The game uses Unreal Engine 4 just like Hellblade, but it's more faster-paced game. It's their longest project yet, as it's been in development for 6 years by the time it comes out in early 2020 for Windows 10 PCs and Xbox. So that is what this leaker has to say about the game on 4chan. And if you listened to my podcast the other day, I said that I had heard the game was multiplayer focused, that a lot of people wouldn't like the direction Ninja Theory was taking the game, because a lot of people feel, or at least a lot of people want them to continue in the single player genre. They want a game or a sequel to Hellblade. They want something like that, and this seems more, like it says here, more of a faster paced action game, a 4-player co-op sci-fi game. Now, this sounds pretty damn awesome to me, but unfortunately I haven't really heard anything corroborating any of this. The stuff I had heard about was more of the multiplayer portion of the game. So while this still could be true, maybe there's the multiplayer portion and there is a single player co-op portion, some of this is right and some of it is some stuff I haven't heard of. But then again, I'm not saying I know everything about Ninja Theory's Bleeding Edge. Of course not. I only know a small snippet of it. And what I know of the game is not really represented here in what this leak is saying. So it absolutely could 100% be true. This person might have 100% factual information about the single player side of Bleeding Edge, while the information that I have is more about the multiplayer side of it. But of course, I'm not going to really go into specifics. Maybe I'll do that a little bit later, closer to E3, so people will be like, oh, okay, Rand actually did really know what was going on here. But yeah, either way, I thought this was cool enough that I wanted to share it, because I know people have been waiting to hear about what exactly they've been making. You know, Microsoft purchased all these studios. We've been asking for more games, better games for quite some time now. You know, I've been kind of down on Xbox's first-party output the last couple years. In my opinion, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay 2, Crackdown 3 just don't cut it. Forza Horizon 4 was amazing, as Forza Horizon always is. But man, it's been a rough 2 years. So when Microsoft came out at E3 and like, we have Ninja Theory, we have Playground, they have a second studio making something. We have Compulsion Games, who I don't really care about. We have Obsidian and In Exile. We are building a new studio at the Initiative. That leads me to think, all right, so the first party situation, they're trying their best to fix. And all we really need is some great content. So does a story-focused 4-player co-op sci-fi adventure from the makers of Hellblade, Devil May Cry, and Enslaved, Odyssey to the West, and Heavenly Sword excite you? Is that what you want to see from Ninja Theory under Microsoft? Let me know in the comments below. And keep in mind, I know a lot of people probably, this news probably isn't, you know, it's gonna upset some people, because like I mentioned a couple minutes ago, they want a single-player experience. Now keep in mind that this game, as this leaker says here, has been in development for 6 years. So they were working on this game while they were working on Hellblade. It's not necessarily something Microsoft mandated them to make. It was just the game they were making after Hellblade, and it just so happened that Microsoft came in, purchased the studio, so now they own it, and now they have a game ready to show. They're going to show it off at E3. We heard last year at XO18 that Phil Spencer said, you know what, Ninja Theory is going to show their game. He said recently that the new studios, some of them will have stuff to show at E3. This is clearly one of them. They're going to show it off. Will the game be called Bleeding Edge? I mean, Microsoft did trademark that. It is possible it's a code name. Maybe that's the actual title. But it will be showed off at E3. And according to what I've heard, and according to what this leaker also says here, it will launch sometime early 2020. Potentially February, maybe even around March. So, you know what? I'm excited to see what this game truly is. Some of the stuff I've been told doesn't necessarily excite me too much, but I hope this single-player co-op portion that this guy talks about is true, because then it would make a full-rounded experience, and it sounds like it could be pretty cool. Like, some of the footage here showed of Razor had potential, and you know, I'm a sucker for sci-fi. Sci-fi games always make me incredibly happy. So to play a 4-player co-op game, sci-fi with the story, 18 levels, 6 unique locations, huge boss fights at the end of them, like there were in God of War, that's pretty cool. And hopefully has a story on par with everything else that Ninja Theory has done. I'm excited. Now, will I be disappointed if this doesn't turn out to be true? That if what I heard was the actual you know, genesis of the game, a multiplayer only sort of experience? Kind of, yeah. Kind of. I want Ninja Theory to make the games they've made previously. I'm not necessarily a full-on multiplayer dude, even though I enjoy Battle Royale games and I enjoy multiplayer. I'm not really looking... or I guess I should say, what I want from Microsoft is more story-driven, single-player / co-op experiences. I feel like that is what they're lacking, and they're not necessarily lacking in multiplayer, you know, experiences. That's what they tend to do pretty well for the most part, but they have a kind of big lack of the single-player, story-driven co-op games. Although Gears of War 5 will kind of fit that bill at the end of this year. So let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. Does the leak make you excited to find out more about Bleeding Edge? Make sure you leave me a comment and hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel.
hit that notification bell if you always want to be notified when I drop new content. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll see everybody in the next video. Later, guys.